Hello. So this video is about the PEKKA matchup against Bait, and especially HYPERBAIT. And so we're gonna look at two games this time. And the first one here is against Boran. And so, well, you don't. Most of the time they run the Skeleton King version. This one they run instead with Hero Mini P.E.K.K.A. And I actually think this one is worse because they have an additional additional wall breakers, which means that they have even more bait, which means that you have to apply, well, the same principles but even better. And so in essence, what you want to do in this matchup is try your best to get some control. So you don't want to overspend, and you don't want to mess up your cycle in a way where you're forced to overspend. And well, some of your best cards against Bait are going to be the Magic Archer and the E-Wiz. And I think most important here is the Magic Archer, because you're going to use Magic Archer to control the game. For example, here, you're going to take damage from the bush on the left, but you don't want to overspend, because if you overspend, you're going to be stuck in a constant cycle of defending. And, well, you would rather take damage and get into a better tempo than to, well, spend more elixir and take less damage. But you obviously can't take the 2000 damage there from a Skelly Bro, so I go E-Wiz. And yeah, here I just wait. I know he's a Skarmy in his hand, so I can't really band it immediately, so I have to be careful, so I band it low, and he does Skarmy. And so again, I have to basically ignore the bush and just play Marcher, because if I spend more, play like the Marcher on top of the bush, well, I take less damage, but I have no Marcher on the board. And if I don't have any pressure on him at all, where he can just ignore the Magic Archer because it's dead, then I lose control of the game, and that's the one thing I really don't want to do. And so here again, I just wait and play some pretty conservative cards. I'm not going to go in. The only time I go in are just these cheap pushes. You really don't want a P.E.K.K.A. because P.E.K.K.A. is way too expensive. And here again, you let the bush get on the tower. You want a full HP ghost counter pushing. One way you can describe this, I think, is that it's just very end-to-end. And yeah, you would try to keep this game end-to-end rather than having them be on the offensive the whole game. And here I can't take more damage, so I do have to go bandit on that. It's been unfortunate. And I go in here because, well, this is a really awkward cycle. And, well, the thing is, he doesn't, in this matchup, the good thing is that he doesn't have a Skeleton King, so he doesn't really have anything block your battle ram, so you can go in like that. And here we get a lot of damage, so I keep trying to go in. Well, his deck is not great offensively. Sorry, defensively. It's very good offensively. So when you have some pressure, it's hard for them to actually defend fully. So you can't sustain pressure in double when they're in a bad position. And the rest of this game is just very, it's just tense. I have to make some good plays to defend him properly. And yeah, it's pretty stressful. And here again, I just Marcher. Oh, I don't. Wow, I surprised myself. Anyway, I don't Marcher because I think I could have Marchered, but anyway. Goes Princess. Now I go Battering because I'm trying to bait out a card that I can go Marcher on. And he does. And that's 2 Marcher shots and it's GG. It's a very close game. I think if he played his mini P.E.K.K.A. better there, then I wouldn't have won, but next game. This is the more standard kind of HYPERBAIT that you're probably used to. It has double spirits and it has Skeleton King. So, principles from last game. I don't want to overspend, and I'm not going to play a P.E.K.K.A. in single. And I want to use Marcher around the middle so I can control both sides of the map. Alright, let's see then. I don't want to waste a Marcher into nothing, because then I won't have anything over Skelly King. So I just wait, and here I do P.E.K.K.A. because the thing is that he doesn't have a Skarmy in hand. And plus, you saw how awkward his defense was, so I'm like, I can probably get away with a P.E.K.K.A. here. when you can get away with the P.E.K.K.A, you do want to use it, so because it clears your hand of a card for like a good 40 seconds. So now I can use all 4 cards in my cycle instead of playing with 3. And yeah, because his cycle is so awkward, I actually get a good push here. And I do something really nice. I go for a bandit. I know he's going to immediately dash on the Dark Goblin. He doesn't even block it because he used both his spirits. And so it's really, really good damage and a really, really good start. And yeah, from here, I still do need to defend though, because this Evil Scar Me is incredibly dangerous. I don't Ewiz immediately because I thought that he might be able to just go Evil Scar Me to bridge and be very weird. And he does go Evil Scar Me here, and I kind of mess up my Marcher. I shouldn't place it so close to the tower when he has vines. So we end up taking a bunch of damage here. Because he gets to vines both my Marcher and tower. That was really bad. And I also have to waste my zaps, so I have to fireball this. Good thing he wastes an Ice Spirit. And here, well, I play Evil Ghost because it's good pressure. You don't really want to like just keep your Evils in your hand because it just makes your hand really awkward if you want to use it at the best possible moment. So you might as well just play it at some other point. I don't go in here because he's Scar Me and don't have Zap, so I obviously can't go in. And here I march in the middle, just like we said before, because march in the middle is really good. And we go Evils, we don't Zap because then I can't Zap the Scar Me. And I go in here, and I expect to Scar Me, and I do Zap it. And this is GG. I mean, I think he went a bit too aggressive. Because we've actually done really well here to get, like, some adequate control, especially after the start. We don't really have to, be as wary of taking that much damage on the tower, because we just have to, like, not lose it. And, yeah. When we have that liberty, when we're already up a tower, this matchup obviously becomes easy, and yeah. Thanks for watching the 2 games. I will see you next time.